The 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War was a defining moment in South Asian history, marked by widespread atrocities committed by the Pakistani military. The conflict began in March 1971 when the Pakistani Army launched Operation Searchlight, a brutal military crackdown on the Bengali population of East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, following a political standoff after the Awami League, led by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, won a landslide victory in the 1970 general elections. The Pakistani government, based in West Pakistan, modern-day Pakistan, refused to transfer power to the Awami League, which led to growing discontent and demands for independence in East Pakistan. The Pakistani military's campaign of repression was aimed at suppressing the independence movement. But it quickly devolved into widespread atrocities, particularly against the Bengali population. This included mass killings, rapes, and targeted violence against civilians, intellectuals, students, and Hindus, who were seen as supporters of the independence cause. The most immediate and visible atrocity was the mass killing of civilians, with estimates of the death toll ranging widely. While figures are contested, many estimates suggest that between 200,000 and 3 million people were killed during the war. Major cities like Dhaka, Chittagong, and Khulna witnessed systematic massacres. The violence began with the infamous assault on Dhaka University on March 25, 1971, where the Pakistani military killed hundreds of students, professors, and intellectuals in an attempt to stifle intellectual dissent and the pro-independence movement. Rural areas were not spared either, as the military conducted operations in villages, leading to mass executions and destruction of homes. Reports of entire villages being wiped out in retributive violence became common. The killing of unarmed civilians, including women and children, was a hallmark of the military's counterinsurgency tactics. One of the most harrowing aspects of the Pakistani Army's atrocities was the use of rape as a weapon of war. Estimates suggest that between 200,000 and 400,000 Bengali women were raped by Pakistani soldiers and their collaborators, including members of local militias known as Razakars, Al-Badr, and Al-Shams. The brutality of this sexual violence was meant to humiliate and terrorize the Bengali population, particularly targeting Hindu women and those from prominent pro-independence families. Many of the survivors of sexual violence were left traumatized, stigmatized, and ostracized in society after the war. The Pakistani military's use of rape has been recognized as a form of ethnic cleansing and an attempt to undermine the identity of the Bengali people. The survivors, known as Bairanganas, war heroines, became a symbol of the atrocities and a reminder of the horrors faced by the civilian population. The Pakistani military also carried out targeted assassinations of Bengali intellectuals, academics, journalists, doctors, engineers, and artists. As the war drew to a close, on December 14, 1971, just days before the surrender of the Pakistani forces, they launched a final wave of killings known as the Intellectual Martyrs' Day Massacre. Militias, with the support of the Pakistani Army, rounded up hundreds of prominent Bengali intellectuals, who were tortured and killed in a bid to cripple the future leadership and cultural growth of an independent Bangladesh. The Hindu minority in East Pakistan was also specifically targeted during the conflict, with many villages destroyed and large-scale massacres committed. The Pakistani military and their collaborators viewed the Hindu population as a fifth column supporting the independence movement and sought to systematically eliminate them. This led to an exodus of nearly 10 million refugees, many of whom fled to neighboring India to escape the violence. The atrocities committed by the Pakistani Army in Bangladesh drew international condemnation, although many global powers, including the United States, remained muted in their response due to Cold War geopolitical interests. However, countries like India, under the leadership of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, played a crucial role in supporting the independence movement by providing military and humanitarian assistance to the Mukti Bahini, Bengali guerrilla fighters. The humanitarian crisis, with millions of refugees fleeing to India and widespread reports of massacres, prompted India to intervene militarily in December 1971. Within a matter of weeks, the Pakistani forces were defeated. And on December 16, 1971, the Pakistani military surrendered, leading to the creation of the independent state of Bangladesh. After the war, calls for justice and accountability grew louder. However, the international community has been slow to prosecute those responsible for the atrocities. Pakistan has never formally apologized for its actions during the war, and most of the military and political leaders involved in the campaign have faced little to no consequences. In Bangladesh, the memory of the atrocities remains a sensitive and politically charged topic, with trials of local collaborators taking place decades later, through the International Crimes Tribunal of Bangladesh. The 1971 war left deep scars on the collective memory of Bangladesh. The genocide, mass rapes, and destruction of property created a humanitarian crisis that would take decades to overcome. Bangladesh's struggle for justice continues to this day, with many survivors and families of the victims seeking recognition and retribution for the crimes committed. The atrocities committed during the 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War serve as a reminder of the devastating impact of ethnic conflict and the brutal lengths to which regimes will go to suppress independence movements. The international community's slow response to the genocide has also raised important questions about global accountability and the role of international institutions in preventing and addressing mass atrocities.